with SWE, I understand you got to go into biomechanics at one point and work with biomechanics, I believe.
Yes, had I forgot almost. Dr. Trigresser, well, we had all kinds of stuff going on. I've actually been to a couple speakers about biomechanics with SWE, and then I worked with Dr. Trigresser for a little while, which was really fun because I've always done sports, like been athletic, and so it's really interesting to me that he's working on, how the body moves and how you could either try to improve somebody's athletic ability or you could try to help find ways to support somebody who's been injured or handicapped in some way, and find devices that would help them. So, yeah, I really did almost forget.
So would biomechanics kind of be like biomedical engineering in a way?
Yes, but I think it's I almost want to say a little bit less, probably just a little bit less medically focused, because the mechanics is kind of, how the body moves versus trying to design a valve that can be used to replace a valve in your heart that's not working anymore.
Yeah. So with biomechanics, it would be like in pro football where they create helmets to like judge concussions during preseason, things like that.
That would be a really good one. And then one of our professors, who I am now blanking on his name, worked at the Olympic training facility for a while, and he did a lot of studying on the motion of athletes and how they could either move more quickly or jump higher. It's kind of bigger, faster, stronger. So it's a lot of that. Can we change the way that we're moving our bodies in order to better achieve whatever it is we're trying to achieve?
So with biomechanics, your classes, is it more like anatomy based and engineering based? So you understand the mechanics of the body?
I didn't take any biomechanic classes, but I would imagine that's probably correct. Because I think you tie in a little bit with kind of the medical side of it and do the anatomy and physiology stuff, which would be very important.
Now, what are some of the opportunities you got through that?
I mean, aside from working with Dr. Tregesser, that's probably the biggest opportunity that I had. We were trying to figure out pressure points in the body and developing a code that would allow you to have sensors on the bottom of your feet and then sensors on kind of key joints on your body. So as you're walking and or squatting, we would take videos, and then we could pull out the sensors in our code and use the information that we had based on their motion to see how your body's moving, where the pressure points are, if you're putting more pressure on your right side than your left, or how things can be changed to make you sort of more balanced.
Yeah. No, this question is kind of funny, but it goes along with biomechanics.
Okay.
Is it possible that one day the fantasy of iRobot could come true using biomechanics?
Oh man, I think anything's possible. I mean, and I think it would almost be more computer and electrical engineering if you want to build a robot, combined with the biomechanical engineering, because that's just like so much programming, so much electrical wires, cords, circuits that you would need to know if that is your vision.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Now I know I won't be taken over by robots in the next couple years.
Is that kind of your goal, is the biomechanical?
Our major goal within this group is mechanical engineering.
Okay.
But mechanical engineering kind of ties into many of the other fields of engineering.
Okay.
So
that's very true.
Like aeronautical engineering, civil engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of our main point.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, whether evil or not, what exactly is mechanical engineer capable of?
Oh gosh. I'd imagine just about anything that you set your mind to. I mean, whether it's building a robot or I get the Society of Mechanical Engineers magazine, and they talk about engineers who outside of work get together and volunteer. So maybe there's a child in Africa who really needs a medical device that if they were to come to America it would cost tens of thousands of dollars. But these engineers will get together and use inexpensive materials and use their own creativity to create a very similar device and, help the kid breathe easier or run faster or do, whatever is impairing him. Uh, what are your goals? Do you think, are there things that you want to try to do that you think might or might not be possible?
Well, I look at the abilities of a person based upon their imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So, some people, I believe, have the capability but can't find it right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you look at the abilities that you do have and you just imagine of a greater good,
Mm-hmm.
I think that someone can be capable of anything.
Right. Well, I believe the guy's name is Elliot Ness that started SpaceX. Have you heard of him at all?
Yes, I have.
So he started PayPal at first and made millions, if not billions of dollars. And then he decided he was so brilliant he was going to start building spaceships. And now, they're experimenting with spaceships that can launch and re-land and then launch again, that could carry people and supplies to colonize the planet. And the last thing I saw is they were researching a vacuum tube that could be used for travel throughout the country, if not throughout the world, where you're going almost the speed of sound. And you put this bus inside a tube and you get, from here to New York in an hour. They have all kinds of issues. I mean, that's a dream and a vision. They haven't done it yet, and they'll probably have some bumps along the way, but I bet they'll figure it out.
Yes. So, do you think for you or for anyone that becoming a mechanical engineer could come with regrets?
Like I said, anything's possible. It's interesting. I mean, if you don't want to be an engineer, what are your reasons for wanting to be an engineer? If you do it because you think you'll make a lot of money or because it's what your parents really want you to do, maybe you would regret it. But if you do it because you like solving problems, you like being creative, you like working with numbers, math, computers, science, I don't think that you would regret it.
I've heard many teachers tell us that all year. If it's something that you don't want to do, you're not gonna want to succeed.
Right. And then if you don't have any interests, you're not going to enjoy your job either. So,
do you enjoy your job?
I pretty much do. Yeah. My first job, I worked at the Department of Defense, and it was honestly a little bit boring, even though it sounds really exciting at first because you're working with missile defense. They would describe it as shooting bullets at bullets. If someone launches a missile at us, we need to know how to shoot it down out, either in outer space or in the sky, in the atmosphere. And it sounds really exciting, but there's so many different departments. My area just didn't have enough to do. So I got this other opportunity with pipeline strategies. And honestly, like, there are times where you're bored and there are times where the work, you're just doing kind of tedious stuff. But then you get these new challenges that crop up every few weeks. You get to learn something new. You figure out a problem. And my company is really small and laid back. Like, I came straight from work and I'm wearing a t-shirt and tennis shoes. And when I met the owner, he was wearing tennis shoes and a sweatshirt. And it's just a good environment. So, and that's really important. It's more important. Well, it's not important to everybody, but most people, I think, is just enjoying the people that you work with. Like, my company is really focused on team building. So last week we played a prank on the boss and filled his office with balloons. And then on Friday, the whole company went to the park for the afternoon and played pickleball and had a big tournament. And it was a really fun way to end the work week. So
sounds like my last year of high school.
Good.
Do you think that being in a workplace like yours, do you think that's one of the perks that you have in your daily life?
Yes, definitely, especially after working at Schriever Air Force Base, which I don't want to say anything too bad about it because there's a lot of opportunities there and there's a lot of interesting stuff. It's a very different environment though, because you go outside of town, you go through all this security, you leave your cell phone in the car, there's no music online that you can, there's no Pandora. So if your work there is not interesting, then it's challenging.
Yeah, it's strict on base. I've been.
Yeah. but that's a neat place because there's so many opportunities. If I had stayed, and I wasn't actually looking for another job, I just got an email from PSI that they wanted to hire, and if I had stayed out there, I would have just transferred to different areas and found something I enjoyed a little bit more.
My last question would be, what makes mechanical engineering more unique above other uh, fields of engineering?
Well, I've never been in another field of engineering, so I can't say this 100%, but I was told when I studied mechanical engineering that it's one of the most versatile fields. Like if you study mechanical, you could really do just about anything with it. I think that might, if you studied computer engineering, that might be a little bit different. You might be kind of more stuck in a computer focused route. But for me, that first job that I had, I was doing more programming than I was doing anything mechanical. And then, with my current job, I've done a little bit of civil, I've done a little bit of mechanical, I've done a little bit of fluids, which is really pretty much mechanical. But I really feel like there's so many options open with a mechanical engineering degree. I mean, gosh, I wish I could think of. I had a meeting on Saturday, and we had a biomechanical engineer speaking, and she designs screws and plates and nails to hold your bones together after they've been broken. So, the plate covers it, the screws go through, and it sounds relatively simple, but it's not. If it's going to be done right and it's not going to cause any harm to the body, it's actually very complicated. And what are some other things that I don't know? There's so many options that people do.
Well, what is it that attracted you most to mechanical engineering?
I really like that you see what you're working with. You can see it, touch it, feel it, hold it in your hands. And then, I mean, especially where I am now, the stuff we design is so huge. You go out there and it starts off as a drawing on a piece of paper in your computer, and then you go out there and there's this huge structure that's been created based on this little piece of paper. So it's pretty neat.
Well, it was great meeting with you.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.